Hello and welcome back to Starship EVO. So we are back in game again. This time, this video is a little bit delayed from when it should have been, as there was a recent update in the starting zone of the torus. So that's where everyone will start into the game, and they'll get to experience it for the first time. There has been a backing wave as of what should be today in your time, and basically, that means hopefully a few of you will be able to start playing the game soon. So I have decided to do this video now because we did have a starting zone for a little while, but I knew it was getting updated, so I decided not to do a video on that one. So I'll do a video on this newer starting zone, and I'll also just show off a few other things I've been working on, a few of which you can see up there. And this is a hover car I've actually worked on recently. Well, not too recently, it was probably about a month ago I started work on this hover car, but the hover cars in-game were very broken at that point, so I couldn't exactly do much with it, so I decided to just break it out again for possibly a hover car race in between multiplayer friends. So we'll see how that goes later on. I'll see if I can record that. But otherwise, this is a hover car. Not really sure what it's inspired by because I didn't look at anything. Part of me wanted it to look a bit like a DeLorean, I guess. But didn't really get there, and I'm still not entirely happy with it. It needs a lot more work, obviously, and it can hold about 5 people by the looks of the amount of seats I've got in here, but ideally I want it to be a bit more comfortable. It doesn't look very comfortable at the moment. We've got some engines on the back here. We've got some 0.75 brick repulsors. So what do I mean by that? We'll just get the repulsor, and when you're sizing it, I've just gone to 0.75 for those ones instead of a full meter cube one. I did have meter cubed ones on there, but they were not quite right. And one thing I should note is there's actually been a change in the way hovercars work, so we'll just look at that now. You can change the individual repulsor strength of each repulsor, so you can have many different repulsors around a car or vehicle, and then you can change them all independently of each other. But for the most part, what you will be doing, which I will get to, let me just get rid of that one, pick that, is you'll be working inside the hovercraft computer. So in here we've got ride height, repulsor dampening, repulsor strength, anti-roll strength, anti-pitch strength, and auto roll while turning. So Sooner, developer, recently did a video on his channel, which I'll link in the description, showing off a few of the community's hovercraft builds, which look great. And also, I believe he goes over this stuff in there. So if you need to learn more about making a hovercraft, I will do a video in the future, but otherwise you can go to his video, which will probably be a bit more in-depth than I will be able to get to for the moment. But anyway, we will just fix that up there, and with an empty hand if we can. There we are, and we'll go here, and we will pilot this hovercraft. So this is what it looks like. It starts to slowly lift itself off the ground once you pilot it, and I'm actually pretty happy with it so far. It needs a lot more work on it, of course, but it works. So we'll just head on over to the starting zone, and we'll explore that, and then we'll head up into space. One thing I need to work on is the stopping power of this thing. Oh boy. That could be a problem. I actually appear to have got myself wedged in here. Don't know how that's happened, but it's happened. Maybe whilst I'm out of it I can use the gravity gun to launch it out. But it looks like we won't be using that one for a little while. Anyway, this is the new starting zone, so I haven't actually covered it in any of my videos yet, because I knew, as I said, there was a change happening with one of the buildings. I don't know if this building will stay, but I absolutely love it. It's by one of the community moderators. So if you see him in the community, probably just tell him what good work he did. Anyway, we will try to find the inside now, and I will cut to there. So here we are in the starting room. So I just got in and I got this nice pop-up message. So please proceed to the tutorial zone to learn more about the game. So we've got zone 1, which is locomotion, learn how to navigate the game, Zone 2, which is the spaceship, and Zone 3, which is logic based. Now, I won't actually go through too much depth. I just wanted to show you guys this tutorial room in case you're an old player and you haven't gone through it yourself, or you just want a general idea of what this building is. But if you already know how to do most things in building games, then you'll probably be alright, but I still recommend going through this tutorial. So in here we've got a bathroom. Not the time to use a bathroom. So this is just going through how to navigate in different gravity orientations and how to get around in the game with ease. So of course we're already in the correct gravity mode, but maybe I missed something on the message. Certainly a bit trippy, a bit like the Portal puzzles, if you've played Portal. Oh, certainly getting dizzy. So this tells us how to use a gravity tool. So I already have this one here, but you can actually just pick it up here off here by pressing F, and it'll put it into your hand. And we'll actually just try to reorientate a bit better. But as you can see, we're actually in a 0G environment due to a gravity generator, which I can't actually see in this room. It's probably, yeah, looks like there it is. And all it does is set the gravity to 0, and therefore you can float around, even on a place that has gravity like the torus. So we've completed that part of the tutorial. Now I'll just show you the rest of this stuff, but otherwise we will just be flying through the other stuff. So here we have the hangar bay. Looks pretty good. And some lovely hovercraft included in our purchase. And if we press G, this one doesn't appear to have any landing gear. So maybe it meant that one at the back there, which it appears to have looked like, but we will take this hovercraft. And we will fly around a little bit. But anyway, here is the spaceship building area. And there I go again, docking it underneath the structures. Here's the spaceship building area. So this is what you'll go through in the tutorial if you want to learn how to build a ship. It is fairly basic, but I do recommend if you are a first time player, you should probably go through this just to get on hand with how the game works. And if you still have trouble with anything, of course, just go to the community Discord and ask for help, or you can ask in the comments here in this video and I'll do my best to help you as well. And then here is Zone 3, which is the logic area by the looks of it. So that will take you through how to use rotators, detectors, turrets, and then other stuff. So I do recommend going through all that. It's definitely the spaceship stuff, but if you're not looking at doing logic for a little while, hold off on that if you want, but otherwise I do definitely recommend going through that. Logic is very handy in this game, you can make lots of cool stuff. So here we have Suna's shuttle, and another one of the community builds, which looks absolutely awesome as per usual. This guy's creations are always on point. But we will move past this stuff. So as you can see, I've decided to pull a few of my ships out and just put them around the station, see how I was liking the new shape of the station. I don't believe I would have shown you anything on video yet regarding the shape of the station, but as you can see, I've sort of curved it out. I changed the barrel of the gun a bit. I think I've changed that like 4 times since the time-lapse part of the video I did. But we've got the civilian shuttle I made just there docked in the middle to prove that it can fit one of those shuttles, even though it is a bit of a tight fit when you're landing. We've got my luxury yacht thing over there, which is constantly in the works because it's just not very good on the interior, and the exterior could use a little bit more decorating, I think. Over there we've got the cargo ship, and then we've got my Rapture class ship, which I am always working on as well. But for the most part, oh, and here's my scout ship rather, flying up to this guy. Still working on this one as well. Had a few ships on the go at a time, and now I just need to actually get around to finishing them all. But of course I decided to start another new ship. So it looks absolutely awful at the moment. It is of course still in the works. This is a scavenging ship, I believe. So what I want is basically my faction in game, Star Explorers, as I've called it, in their lore, if you will. They were wiped out by some enemy and only a few of them remained, so they've had to rebuild their entire corporation and way of life with the ships they had remaining. And what they will need to be doing is salvaging what they can of other ships and derelicts and mining expeditions, etc. So this is the sort of ship that I want them to be using for that. It is an odd shape, and it's not looking very good at the moment, of course, because there's no detailing, but I am pretty happy with the general direction it's going. So we'll actually just fly up to it, see if we can get locked in the gravity. I don't know where the gravity is. Here it is, up the back of the ship. And then we'll just slow down a little bit and we'll go for a look inside. So we had the bridge at the front there, a few other things, but we'll go through the inside. So we'll just turn on our light. It's a bit dark. And there's not much of the ship set up. So maneuvering thruster, but anyway, this is the cargo bay. Of course I want this ship to have a large cargo bay, just because it's going to be hauling a lot of stuff, whether it be derelict ship pieces or mining equipment or anything really, just a lot of cargo room. I don't know if this is a lot, but I'd like to think that for this size of ship it is relatively large. And then in here will be a cargo lift, so that way they can bring stuff to and from a landing pad up into the ship. We won't go that way, we'll go this way instead. And this will be a computer terminal. I just thought I'd break you down what's going on with the ship at the moment and where I've been and what I've been doing. So this is actually the main community area, so we'll have a computer storage room in there, so that will be another thing I'll go over in a minute. But here is where people will eat, use the kitchen, etc. and so on. So just a very basic sort of community area. Here we have a science lab, I think I wanted this one to be. So it will be computer stations, terminals, all looking out here, and I think that's a pretty awesome view. And this of course will be the bridge, so we'll step down. It's still in construction, so everything is a little bit awkward still, but that will be the bridge. And I feel like this will have relatively good visibility, which is what I want from this ship. So we'll move out of here, and just as we walk past it, we actually got teleporter blocks back. So that means you can teleport to a ship from these teleportation stations, which is awesome. Going around here, so it's sort of a curved corridor layout. This will be the captain's quarters, large area, and that will be the bathroom. As you can see, making these curves sometimes is a bit messy on the other side, even though they're relatively simple looking on this side. This will be the med bay and cryo bay, so that will be cryopods. I'm thinking of a mechanism that will bring them up to the ceiling, like in the old Lost in Space movie. Well, the middle Lost in Space movie, I think it is. Anyway, people will step into the cryopods, and then a mechanism will take them up to the roof and angle them, looking down over the medical bay, which will be this room here. So I'm liking the idea of that. This will be a little computer terminal, crew quarters, or one of, that will hold about 2 or 3 crew members, and then we'll have another one down here, which will hold another 2 or 3 crew members just in here. And then to this side we have the shield generator room. I'll fill this up more and decorate it more, of course, but I just wanted to get some of the hardware blocks down. And in here will be an observation room or another science room, because Star Explorers, the faction, they will of course be explorers and scientists, so they will need lots of room to conduct studies and have good visibility of, say, a planet or an asteroid field, whatever they're studying. Here is one of the large cargo bay doors, or the airlocks rather. That's pretty simple. And there's the outside there with the maneuvering thruster. So it is a asymmetric ship. In here, this is actually something I wanted to go over with you guys, just see what you thought about it. But I actually devised of a sort of system, I guess, where you could store information. So I imagine that some computers will have information in, some ships will have information in them. And they might have ship logs, captain's logs, all sorts of information, things that they've come across, even vital information if they're in a faction and they need to transfer that information. So I figured, what better way than to have an area to store all of that. So the idea is that you have a text input screen, you can store all sorts of information in it. You'll be able to see some of it at least from here, but for the most part you can actually type these things pretty full and you don't need to have it all visible on the screen from the outside. So you can actually use each one as sort of like a text document of their own. And so you could store potentially, say, whatever this is, 20 text documents full of data. And then if you ever get to a space station where you need to offload that data, say you've been salvaging ships and you need to let know what sort of information were in the ship's computers that you were salvaging, then this docking port will extend next to the main docking port and it will go either into a space station, so that way someone on the inside of the space station can then come up to here and then they can get all the data and manually move it. Or if we had docking blocks, you could potentially have it as a removable module that can be swapped out with a fresh one ready to be reused on the next trip. So I thought that was a decent idea. I'd like to hear what you guys think. I haven't seen anyone else do anything like that yet, where they have text input screens as storage modules for ship logs and other stuff like that. But I think it's got potential, so I'm thinking I might incorporate this into a few of my designs, storing information that you come across, because you may not always be able to remember all the information you come across on a voyage. This will be a maintenance lift going to the surface of the ship, so that way you can make repairs on top of the ship. And here is the engineering room, so this will actually be a very big engineering room. I'm thinking a big fuel tank there, reactor there, logic bays there, and of course the corridor leading to the med bay, and of course the cargo bay through here. So overall I'm pretty happy with the design of this ship so far. Of course it just needs a lot more work on it, but I am pretty happy with it. I'd like to see what you think and hear your opinions on it. Do you think salvaging ships is something that people will use? Mining ships, all that sort of stuff. And just before we finish up, I'll actually show you what I've got in mind for the main weapon, you could almost call it. So when you're using the ship, you may want to drill a hole into other ships through their hull, so that way you can get into the ship if they've got a thick hull, or they've still got shields up. You might need to disable the shields, so you might need to use a big laser to puncture a hole in it, similar to how this Lagrangian station works out. It's got a really big laser to take out shields and destroy ships. I'm thinking very similarly for this sort of ship, except I've made it modular, so it's just a simple AND gate and switch system. So what you do is you disable whichever ones you don't want to fire. Say I want just this top left one to fire, this one over here. When I fire the button, only that one will fire. And say if I want to do a sort of door shaped pattern into the side of a ship, I've come across a ship and I want to drill a hole that's about 3 by 2 meters wide, all I have to do is that. I'll actually turn the switch on so you can see, and shoot fire again. There we are. So that's the idea with that, and you can continue to turn more on if you want maximum potential, or if you're in a fight and you need to use a weapon. So I think that's got some good potential, having it a modular weapon, so you can change how many lasers you want firing. You can disable some if the ship is overheating, for example, and so on and so forth. So I think that's a pretty good idea. So thank you for watching. Give me some feedback if you want. If you want any specific videos made in the future, let me know. And I guess I will see you in the next one. Hey guys, so I just thought I'd make a small recording, show you guys what it's like destroying a ship with the Lagrangian station beam weapon. So I missed this out in the actual video accidentally, sorry about that, but here is the video. So that's how I target it, and then hold left click to fire. I think I accidentally overshot that. Let's reposition. As you can see there, if I'd actually hit it in the first shot properly, I probably would have taken it out. In a lot of cases, I can actually one-shot a ship, but anyway, that took about 3 shots. Probably could have done it in about 2 shots, but anyway, hope you enjoyed that. I'll just show again. Pretty powerful weapon. I'm pretty happy with how it goes. Hope you enjoy.